So welcome,
Okay.
Ifeoma. Welcome to the Ottawa Black Book Club. I don't know. After reading this book, I feel like I have known you for a very long time. After reading this book,
Oh,
uh, like
wow.
I did the brief introduction I did on my other laptop. I said I just introduced myself. I am Oluno Saint Louisa Ivaze. A lot of people always assume I'm an Igbo woman when they meet me. So
Really?
yes, I always get that. Kedu. I attended an Edo meeting and I was called Ngozi. Even my people think I am an Igbo woman.
Yeah.
So,
It happens.
yeah. So, welcome. I just introduced the Ottawa Black Book Club. I'm the founder of the book club, and the book club is focused on books by authors of African and Black descent. I believe that we are the only ones who have the power to shape our narrative, one book at a time. So we have, I mean, but it's open to, all ethnicities. So we have members from all over. We've had people join meetings from as far away as India,
Wow.
which is good. So yeah, so I am a writer. I write for both adults and children. And I don't know, I do so many other things, but everything books is very, very close to my heart. So yeah, so it's an honor to have you here. And thank you also for inviting your classmates. So
Yeah, family.
yes, and family. Yes, thank you so much. So, I will just read your brief. Let me see. I put it here. I put it out here. Just a minute. And while I was preparing and just waiting, preparing for today, I don't think I have played as much Igbo songs as I did this month. Yes, because I believe every book should have a song. So the song I think I picked for this book, I picked some songs for this book. I picked Onulube by Jennifer Eliogu. Then there was Asa. And then for some reason, I put Umu Jesus Christ by Odumeje. I just put it there because I'm like, okay. So
Yeah.
I'll read your short bio before we start. Ifeoma Chinwuba is a Commonwealth prize shortlisted author and former diplomat. She was born in Nigeria and was a child refugee in the Nigeria Biafra War. At the age of 8, she was sent to live with a foster family in Ireland. She grew up with storytelling and after her education worked for years in the Foreign Service, which enabled her to visit over 60 countries and enrich her worldview, apparent in her writing. She was appointed ambassador to the Republic of Cote d'Ivoire in 2014. She has written several critically acclaimed novels and was the 2022 writer in residence at the Department of English and Film Studies of the University of Alberta. So I know you've achieved so many other things, but this is just you, in a nutshell. So welcome. So
Thank you.
this book, the first thing I said was when I read this book, it felt like eating boiled yam with palm oil, onions, and salt. That was what reading this book felt like to me. And for the first time, I was really, really, I could relate with a lot of things happening in the story because I actually attended Nnamdi Azikiwe University. And it was such a coincidence you had a character there called Louisa to attending Nnamdi Azikiwe University.
Now you.
Are you? Yeah. So I will start by asking, I like how for someone who doesn't really know a lot about the Igbos, I liked what you did. You did justice to this Nwa boy apprenticeship. It's something we don't have in Edo State. We don't really have it because, and I love that the Igbos understood very early because after the war, because I went and did my research about it, that you know what, everybody isn't built for school. So if you can't go to school, go and learn a trade. And I think this has contributed to the success. And also, you touched on the good and the bad. You touched on the good and the bad. I like that you touched on tribalism, gender equality, politics, family, patriarchy. So, please, first of all, tell me your inspiration for writing this story. I like your style of writing. It was as if I was just sitting down and gisting with you, okay, what happened to Rapu? What of Zona? So please, talk to us about your inspiration for this story.
Okay, thank you, Louisa. Thank you for having me here
Thank you, Lauren.
discuss my book. I'm I know there are so many books out there that you could feature. So I'm happy to be here. I thank all those who have tuned in to sharing this discussion. Well, the inspiration really for writing this book is twofold. One is to talk about the apprenticeship system in Igbo land. It does exist in other cultures, in other places, but our one is quite peculiar. So I said, this thing has to be broadcast, to be announced to the whole world, so that they know what is happening in that neck of the woods. The second thing, inspiration, was to talk about the Igbos. Through the apprenticeship system, I have written about other aspects, the importance of the male child in the marriage, and the consequences of not having one, not producing one, could happen to a woman who is fertile but unable to produce that hair. And I thought, with what is going on around the world, perhaps we could shine the light on this aspect so that our people know to move forward, to move on, to jettison some aspects of our culture that are not helping us. This is my inspiration, really.
Okay. Thank you. And this is the first book I have read that has really, really, apart from that movie Afamifuna that I saw on Netflix, this is the first book I have read that has really gone into this apprenticeship system to talk about it. Because people don't really understand. You just see people serving people, serving a master, and you don't get it. For me, my first experience of the East, yes, I grew up with, yeah, I went to school with the Igbo people, but the Igbo people I went to school with were born and raised in Benin. So they're even more Edo than I am. But when I went to Anambra State to school, I started to learn a lot of things. I'm a Catholic, my Catholicism got stronger. You see this chaplet thing, block rosary, all those things. I started to learn all those things about the East. And when I read about this apprenticeship system and then the war, it's so sad that, yeah. So living in the East really gave me a feel of what it's like to have a structured culture. For us, I keep comparing to my own culture. Through the years, I've met a lot of people, Edo people who have never been to their villages. They don't speak their language. But having Igbo friends, it's interesting how I meet people and they go, "That's my grandmother's cousin. That's my that's my grandmother's auntie's relative." And I keep wondering, there are some of my first cousins, I met some of my first cousins when I was in my 30s.
Ooh.
Yeah, and that was just, and even the meeting it wasn't, I don't know. It was just me going to say, "Oh, hello," and they were like, "Okay, hello," and that's it. And this language of a thing, I realized that when you find Igbo people in different places, even if the Igbo person has never stepped on the soil of Nigeria, they speak their language. And it's beautiful when they say, I now understand, this gave me an understanding of when you go to this saying, when you go to a place and you don't find an Igbo person there, that means that place is not a good place. They say, leave that place. So why did you choose to use? So you used three brothers as your vehicle for conveying the story. Yeah. So why did you choose? So Jasper, Rapu, Zona. For people who haven't read the book, unfortunately, I'm going to be giving spoilers here. So it's your luck. You have to go and read the book. But that is it. So why did you choose to use three brothers? Because you started with, hold on, that the Bible, because I know the man was the greatest of all the sons of the East. When they talk about Igbos being descendants of Israel, but you started the story with Jasper's freedom, and we could see Jonah's envy from there. Why did you choose to use three brothers as a vehicle to convey this story?
Well, why not? It's a writer, it's your prerogative.
Mm-hmm.
Could have, you see that I'm talking about brothers. The title is Sons of the East, called from the book of Job.
Mm-hmm.
The title is called in the Book of Job. Job was one of the greatest sons of the East.
East, okay.
A rich man, a magnate, a mogul.
Okay.
So we're talking about brothers, about sons of the East, but there's a woman on the cover of the book.
Yes.
So it's the writer's prerogative. Out there, you have a myriad of issues, themes to talk about, and you have to decide on what point, because you have to grab the story. There are so many possibilities.
Okay.
You think, how do I best portray this? Because apart from the apprenticeship system and the importance placed on male children, there's also sibling rivalry. Yeah, everywhere. There's sibling rivalry amongst us, amongst many families. Keep comparing, how am I faring in relation to this person, to that person, and sometimes it gets murderous. So I just wanted to kill many birds with one stone, to talk about sibling rivalry and at the same time talk about the other issues that we raised.
Yeah, because sibling rivalry, what this book taught me is never underestimate how far an envious person will and can go. That is one thing I have always taken for granted. This book just taught me that jealous people are dangerous people. And if I look at Jasper's story and how he ended up, is also something for us to understand that sometimes it's okay to mind your business. You can't solve everybody's problem. You can't solve everybody's problem. Then this thing about male children, I think it's everywhere because my mom had 7 daughters. My mom has 7 daughters. So she had 7 daughters before she had my brother. And when I was reading this story and I said, Zona, but you have healthy daughters, you have healthy girls. Why is it that it's still, please talk to us about this thing about male children? Because even if that male child ends up as a vagabond, people just say, hey, boy, he's a son. The son has the name. What is it about male children?
Well, it's a cultural thing. I think we grew up into it. We met it. It's one of those things we met in our culture that the male, continues the bloodline. The family bears the name continues, while the women, the female children, they likely get married, change their names, move away from the homestead. But the male is there to continue the name, the father's name, in perpetuity. You see, so that is why it's very important that most men, they crave male children. And so for a woman, it's not enough to be fertile, to produce a child. Married to your matrimonial home is not enough. You must be a male. And it's gotten to a point that people go to all extent now to get that male child.
Yes, I was shocked because she was ready. She was willing to steal a baby from the hospital, and Nurse Eliza was willing to swap a baby for
But it
400,000.
happens in real life. It happens now. It happens because as an author, as a writer, I read a lot of newspapers. When I'm writing about an issue, I write papers and I read. I just skim through anything that concerns my subject matter. I pause and look at it and consume it. So it happens every day out in the kidnapping of babies, of children. It's very rampant now, and sale.
Okay.
It's merchandise now, being commercialized. That the nurses are also into it.
Okay.
Maternity homes, yeah.
Okay. Lide, I see your hand up. Please, if anybody wants to speak, there's the raise hand icon at the bottom there. Yes,
Good evening. Good evening, my lady. How are you?
Good evening, Nigeria.
First of all, thank you for joining us, but I think this would have worked better.
Lide, we can't see
Oh,
your
my
face.
bad. Can you see me now?
Yes, we see you now.
Okay. I was just going to say thanks for joining us. And I think this would have been much better if we were at the Starbucks in South Keys there. Because I read your preface and I was like, whoa, she's like minutes away from us. So thanks for joining us. So anyways, I was going to add to the question Luisa was asking about the male lineage that you responded to. I wanted to contribute that we live in a patriarchal society, and when there is an absent male, it's you like even if you have 5 children and there is no male in the home, you live in you're a single mother, you know. And I always like, I don't know if you know of Professor Oyeronke Oyewumi. She wrote the book on I can put the link on designing women, something like that. And the concept that she elaborates on is the notion of single motherhood. Like you cannot be a mother and be single, right? Because by default, if you're a mother, it means there's another person with you. So the importance on the male gender starts from there. So the father is not there. So now you're a single mother, even when you have males, right? And then of course, when that male begins to have children, the pressure is on to produce another male because there's no male, it's not complete. So I won't take, yes. So I just wanted to say that. Of course, I have a lot to say, but I'll just say that for now. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
And even now, with the high cost of living, you see women in their 5th, 6th child, they're all female.
Yes.
Last time we visited a family in Abuja, their 5th daughter. And you could tell looking for. Because with the school fees now, who can afford the high?
Yeah. So I'm looking at the decimation of the Igbos. You know, I'm trying to look at it to the politics. You know, I've heard a lot of things, but I've never really delved into politics to go because Zona made a statement which I held on to. He said, as much as Igbos go, you know, wherever you find Igbo people, they develop the place somehow. They bring business. Somehow they bring something that, you know, a lot of people overlook, but they have a way of bringing income into a place. And he said, despite all these things they do with development, people still hate them. I look at, you know, when you brought Okuzu SARS, I read that thing and, you know, let me put this out there. My dad was area commander, Anambra State. Yes, when I was part of my school years, he was area commander, Anambra State. And it was from him I first heard of, you know, when you have these Unwa boys and it's time for their freedom, how some of their masters go and tell lies, frame them up, and then have them locked up because they don't want to settle them.
Exactly.
Yes, for me, I found that very heartbreaking. How can someone serve you for 7 years and then you choose to treat the person this way? But then there's also the stealing. Look at what Stanley did to Rapu. Practically wrecked his business. And when Rapu jazzed him, I don't know, I didn't feel bad, Shao, when Rapu jazzed him, because I'm like, okay, so please talk to us about this decimation of the Igbos. What is it about Igbos that intimidates cultures? Because the last protest we had in Nigeria, I noticed the Igbos didn't join. And then instead they showed videos of themselves eating chicken and things like that. So talk to us about that. What is it about this thing? Because I have that respect for the Igbos. They know how to find money. Even if that money is under a rock, they know how to generate wealth. They know they can sell ice to the Eskimos. What is it about the Igbos, especially Anambra people?
I would like everybody to key in and tell us what the issue is. How do they do the Igbo people? I wouldn't say it's cultural. It's not only we Igbos that, let me use the expression now, bambo, that hustle. Everybody hustles, but the Igbo man is ready to go the extra mile. It's not being his DNA, it's being his genes. You know what I think. Because people, for instance, we have this Igbos must go from Lagos State,
Yeah.
Lagos and all that. But you look around and you see many Yoruba people marrying Igbo.
Yeah.
A lot of them are married.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of intermarried. Igbo girl, Yoruba man,
Mm-hmm.
vice versa. Many
Yeah.
of my friends, his name is Obiageli Akirimisi, for instance. Yeah, they're all like that. Yemisi Wanko. BC, I don't know if BC Ojo is here. So there's a lot of intermarriages going on, just between the Igbos and other tribes. That's all over the country. Still, maybe it's deep seated, maybe it's from parents, generational. People, your mother, your father, your grandfather, people in the past, maybe they want to perpetuate this. But I think that the young people, it's time to get over it. It's time to get over it. All these ethnicities, tribalism. I think it's time to get over it. But the Igbo man has proven times without number that he's here to add value to the community. And it's not just in Nigeria, mind you, all over the world.
All over the world, yeah.
Yes. When I was ambassador in Cote d'Ivoire, I used to visit the hinterland. And you go to the village, and lo and behold, there's an Igbo man there. I also went to Guangzhou some time ago, from the Ministry of Foreign. I went to Guangzhou in China. And a man from Nnewi, from my village, came to greet me with a Chinese wife and two little Chinese Nnewi kids. I said, my brother, how did you do this? It's everywhere, in every nook and cranny of the universe. You see? So it's not just within Nigeria. We have been called the Jews of the world, of Africa. So we are everywhere. In this great trek, this great migration. The woman, as you said, in search of money anywhere.
Yeah.
To go. In Niger, in Guinea, in Pakistan, India, everywhere they're there. So it must be their genes.
Okay, I saw Lide said here, mentioned that the Civil War must have cost it. So in my research, contributed to it. In my research here, I saw that I saw that after the Igbos lost everything that they had, the government, I found it insulting that the government compensated them with just £20. And I feel that that must have also acted as a catalyst for this nomadic migration and progression of the Igbos to different parts of the world. And I don't think I have met an Igbo man that has one stream of income. No, they have multiple. In fact, I have two sisters married to Igbos.
Wow.
Yes, Anambra people, yes. To Igbos, yes, which is very interesting. Lida, you want to ask a question? Please, for people who have read, feel free to ask. Even if you have not read, feel free to ask questions so we don't monopolize the conversation. Lida, please go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, the Igbo man is one of the most desirable male in the world.
You
like,
think
so?
It's
not only just...
Really?
I want to say so because, listen, when you look at mixed race children, like Madame mentioned, all over the world, most of them are of Igbo origin because the Igbo man is everywhere.
Everywhere.
In the search of survival. And this year, this is the second book that I've read. I don't know if Madame knows of Chidozie Obioma.
Chigozie, yes.
Yeah, so his new book, The Road to the Country,
talks
about the Civil War and the survival instincts and, all of the injustices that were, committed by what we know as Nigeria to the Igbos. So I feel like the survival thing, of course, it's in the DNA, clearly. That's how they were able to overcome that. But that's also, what also adds to it, and what we continue to see is how, that's why the Igbos want to leave, right? They believe that they have everything that they need to survive anywhere, never mind Nigeria that has treated them the way that it has. And I know that as Yoruba, I'm Yoruba, a lot of Yoruba people feel like Igbos tells their stories the way they want it to be told. But if you read the Road to the Country, there are lots of Yoruba people that have been interviewed, and they like it's surprising. It's not just fiction. Like this guy went all out. Everyone should look into Chidozie Obioma. I'm always promoting him, right?
So the protagonist is a Yoruba boy.
Exactly. Thank you. So that I just wanted to add to that I a lot of things, a lot of survival instincts that we see and the success of the Igbo man, in my opinion, and my youngish age, boils down to how they were treated after the Civil War. That's what I wanted to, in my opinion.
They are very resilient. I appreciate that. I appreciate that they're very resilient. I appreciate the hard work and the fact that they've come to understand that a degree is not all about a degree. It's not all about a degree. For we Edos, we always feel that you have to have a degree before anything.
And Yorubas.
Yes. But for the Igbo man has understood very early that, you know what, okay, fine. If my father can't afford to send me to school, first of all, I go do a business. In Nnamdi Azikiwe, they had CEP program. And in the CEP program, we had many businessmen. Now they have a center where people can learn how to speak Mandarin and Cantonese in Nnamdi Azikiwe University. They have that now. Yeah, Nesochi, I see your hand up. Please go ahead.
Yes, I just wanted to add to what was said previously about Igbo men being desirable. I think you underestimate the role of Igbo women in making Igbo men desirable. I think the expectations that are placed on Igbo men is what makes them hardworking and resilient and persistent. And if you find an Igbo man, you find that his mother is way behind his success, his encouragement, his support. So it's not necessarily that Igbo men are just desirable for the sake of being desirable. I think there's a role that women play in making them desirable to all the women. And the other day, there was an argument between South African women and Nigerian women over Nigerian men. And they were saying how, Nigerian men preferred or desired South African women. But what made it interesting to me is that why is no one desiring South African men? And why is South African men not a topic of discussion? So I think the role that women play is greatly and grossly undervalued in how Nigerian men are. How Nigerian men work, how their Nigerian men provide, and how Nigerian men become even more successful anywhere in the world. I just wanted to highlight that before we move on.
Okay, thank you very much. Because I look at the mother of these three boys. What was that her name again?
Yom.
Yom, yes. Even though she seemed to be in the background, there was this thing about her. She had a way, she did her best to hold her sons. She was there. I was looking at it and I was wondering, so the question I want to ask is, why is the role of the woman not really celebrated outwardly like the way the role of the man is celebrated? And what is it with Igbos and titles? Everybody has a title. Even the small cockroach that ran across the road, there is a title for that cockroach that ran across the road. So what is it with Igbos and titles, and then the role of women? Because the role of women is powerful. It's just that they are as long as they're in the background.
But that's why a woman is on the cover. I told you.
Yeah.
Sons of the East talking about men. But there's a woman on the cover. It's like Nesochi says right there. You see a man, somebody formed him. Somebody formed him. That's the role of the mother. He had a mother. Even if he didn't have a mother, was an apprentice. The master's wife took over that role of mothering. Yeah, mothering. So people say where there is a successful man,
there is a woman. Because all the men here, the man Jasper went to borrow money from, his wife was the one managing the finances. Jasper's wife was intelligent. I mean, when she came into the business, I saw the way she. So the trick here is what I noticed is, even though she gave Jasper ideas on how, first of all, to get a computerized way of calculating money, ordering from home and things like that, she said it in a very subtle way.
Step back. Yeah.
So what is it with the male ego? You don't want it to look as if it's my idea. You want me to make it look as if it's your idea, but it's my idea. Then he made a powerful statement where he said, even though men claim to be the head, women are the ones in control. He said it. So what is it with that subtle? What is it? I don't know, because I kept noticing it. Okay, the women here, Charity, I liked her guts, but unfortunately, the beating was too much. She was beaten, but when she went back to the village, she regained some sort of power.
Oh yeah, a lot of power, financial power, and everything. She was in a position even to buy.
Yes.
And put her marriage right again. She had the muscle to buy happiness or stability in her marriage. So yeah, it's so, people keep talking about men, Igbo men generally, but the Igbo woman also has a can-do spirit.
Very.
Not worrying her husband, open a shop for me. Look at my mates, even if it's trinkets, even if it's baby clothes, even if it's condiments. Like, why am I at home? Why do you keep me at home? I want to be out there hustling too, And it was Ifeoma, their mother again.
Yeah.
Those are look, open a shop for her.
Yes.
Oh, see, even Amata herself.
Yes.
Initial stages of her marriage, staying home with the other housewives, and one day confronts her husband. Am I going to sit at home? Am I going to put my certificate under the biblical bushel, light a lamp and hide it? They said, how? How will you stay at home and be doing what? You are following us to the market. It was like Ocheze, that woman that is size of money and all that. So right now, you go to the markets, women are beside their husbands. They are there trading. They know about the business too. Whether it's spare parts, building materials, they are there. Okay? So the can-do spirit is not just for the males, it's also for the women.
I found that beautiful. I found that beautiful that Ifeoma was able to start that keke business. So because there are a lot of things. I come from a culture to where, a woman shouldn't this, a woman shouldn't that. Because I try to imagine an Edo woman riding a keke, and I couldn't picture doing that. Anisha woman riding a keke. No, now they will say that's not a woman's thing. In Delta, women ride bikes. But I can't picture Anisha. I couldn't have pictured an Anisha woman riding a keke and doing keke business. And then no.
What of Danfo? Even in Lagos, women ride Danfo now.
Yes, which I find amazing. So I want to go to the issue of romance, please. One thing I learned from the East, which I find interesting, is when you meet a successful Anambra man. I talk about Anambra men a lot because that's where I schooled. The man will tell you, "Nah, if you go yes, because they will tell you that you see a man's wealth in his wife and children. I find that very beautiful. I love that. I love
They compete.
Yes. Because most of the time, I think maybe that is where also this affinity for tall women also comes in. Have you seen that tall one, that huge one? That one.
Yeah.
I find it maybe that's why people think I'm an Igbo woman. I find that very fascinating, when they'll say, but it's very interesting that they say you see a man's wealth in his wife and his children. But what is it with romance? Some people will say, like my father used to say, oh, this romance you admire is the foreign way. I remember when Amata said to Jasper, you don't say I love you. And he was smiling. And then she now said, okay, you could say 1, 2, 3, 4. And he preferred to say 1, 2, 3, 4 rather than just say I love you. Sometimes, yes, in the showing, but also in the saying. But I didn't like the fact that he didn't have sex with her until she saw her first period. Because when I was wondering, I said, why? He should be waiting to consummate. And he said, I don't want you to bring another person's pregnancy into. So there's nothing like unconditional love. It's conditional. Why?
Well, you see, Albert Camus that said that you use fiction to tell the truth.
The truth, yeah.
You use fiction. These things happen. Recently in Nigeria, there was a spate of, DNA.
I saw that.
Wahala, a lot.
Yes.
Men looking after children that they hadn't fathered, that they thought were theirs.
Mm-hmm.
Some on the threshold of going to the US for maybe they got this green card or something, and the embassy says, "Oh, let's make sure the people you're taking with you are yours," and then they find out that, oh, you see, so some women, it turns out, it emerges that some women, okay, they're in a marriage now, but they are still seeing their, past heartthrob or something like that. Or the heartthrob couldn't marry them because he didn't have the wherewithal to marry this guy. But now, playing, truant, if you like. So, and it has happened. Many people raise kids that they thought were dead, and it's shocking. It's shocking. And people, it could be fatal, it could kill. So Jasper says, all right, let's see this, let's do it this way. It happens really in real life.
But I was asking, where is the issue? Then where does trust come in? Maybe because I can be a hopeless romantic sometimes, I forget certain things. But my take was, if I was Amata, I would feel insulted because I would say it means you don't trust me. And he waited for what, 1 year? And even when the period came,
months, yeah.
Yes, almost a year. And even when the period came, he followed her into the bathroom to ensure that she was really bleeding.
Yeah.
I'm wondering.
There are men like that out there. I don't even know. There are men out there. Yeah, I tell you, there are men out there like that. I want to make sure that because we know that some women, well, when I was as far back as when we were in the secondary school, no, federal government college, or some women, they don't want to go to lecture to school for one reason. They bring a red ink or cut or something and put on a sanitary towel. Say, I have dysmenorrhea, I'm sick. They say, I'm sure. And you just show you see what I mean? So there are so many narratives around falsifying things. That, and like the Igbo people say, since men, the bird,
yes,
men have learned to shoot without missing. The bird has learned to fly without perching.
Yeah.
This is how it is. Okay, let me also make sure that I don't bring foreign blood into my home. And you see what happened when Amata ended the bank manager?
Yes, that was so fast and it made no sense. And I'm wondering, why would he be so careless? Lola, just a minute. I see your hand up. But one thing also I learned from personal experience from school in the East, because when you grow up back home in Benin, oh yes, you have one boyfriend. Okay, if he's serious, maybe this is who you marry. But one thing I learned from schooling in the East, which was very interesting, was you will see a girl, she would have her main boyfriend. This is the boyfriend she really loves, the one she wants to marry. Then there'll be a backup. If this one doesn't work out, if this A doesn't work out, I can fall back.
B. Yeah.
There'll be that Omata that gives money.
Trader.
The trader, who you're not going to marry. But that money used to help this one that you really, really love. So I found that very, very interesting. Then you would have a girl who, I also saw situations where there were girls we knew with one boyfriend through university. They graduated today, and then that weekend, the girl married someone totally different. And I'm wondering, how do they juggle this? So when I got to this part and I started reading about this paternity thing and trying to understand, I had seen a research that said a lot of couples where the woman is pregnant before the wedding, most of the time the baby is not the man's baby. Many times, maybe she got pregnant for somebody she really, really liked, or maybe a one-night stand. And because he rejected it, she pushed it on to the next person, which I feel is very, very, is an evil thing to do. Yeah, you don't, yeah. Lola, I see your hand.
Now.
Yeah. Lola, I see your hand up. Lola is our in-house psychotherapist. Lola, can you hear me? I don't know if she's still there. Lola? Lola? Okay. Anyway.
Now, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. So I was just going to say, thank you so much, ma'am, for this book. I really enjoyed it. So on the matter of the paternity something, I kind of saw Jasper's side of the story. and maybe because that's personally, because I'd heard stories of people trying to go abroad, do DNA, and then find out the kids are not his, you know. So, and I felt like Amata too, after a while, she was a bit understanding. It makes sense. I think maybe more people should probably do that. But, but, you know, the whole book, I am very interested in knowing about the writing in terms of, there was some regular language and then there was some really, really big words. Was that like intentional?
You use words, big words.
Well, it really depends on the character, on the dialogue. I think when is the character speaking, I mean, they don't use big words because they're traders, you know. But when is the author coming into, you know, the
Okay.
background, I thought maybe you could allow one or two.
Okay, all right. So, because I'm like, we'll go from what shall we call this to Schadenfreude. I'm like, what?
What shall we call this? The other one, you understand me, right?
Yeah, are you getting me?
That's dialogue. You see, that's dialogue from the.
Louisa, are you getting me?
Are you getting me? What shall we call this? Yeah, I keep seeing that. What shall we call this? I asked a friend of mine. There's a friend of mine here. Chukudum, are you here? Yeah, there's a friend of mine from UDC. Aha. So I had to ask him, yes, because when Jasper what shall we call this? So I asked him to say it to me in Igbo. How do you say it in Igbo?
I got one card again.
Aha! Thank you. I always say that. Yeah, so this is my friend Chukudum. In fact, Chukudum lived behind me in the hostel. So yeah, I asked because Jasper will always say, what shall we call this? Then Zona will always say,
Are you getting my point?
Are you getting my point?
Yeah,
And I didn't get it. Okay, so my question here is this. The Igbo man's romance is not one of PDA, physical affection. It's more of, I'm taking care of you. You are my wife, but I'm still in charge. Talk to us about the Igbo man's romance.
Yeah, Igbo men here. Can you talk to us about that, please?
Chukwudu, we are here. Talk to us about Igbo man's romance, please. Because I don't understand.
I don't think I have that capacity and capability to do so. I think there is a lot of misconception. It depends. The perspective of a typical Igbo man is such that if you take care of your woman, take care of her needs, there should be some sort of understanding that that should sort of translate to a kind of care and, of course, some sort of love, which I think in today time, it's not really necessarily the case. A woman today basically needs those words, affection. You need to tell her from time to time that you really cherish her, you love her. Do some things that really, really demonstrate to the world, assure exactly words of assurance all the time. So that has started to change. And I think we are adapting. Igbo men have gradually started to also adapt. So apart from really trying to make sure that they see to the needs of their couple or their wives, they're also trying now to really, really adapt. But I think that's pretty correct. You know, initially it's all about making sure that woman is comfortable, doesn't lack anything. And like you rightly pointed out, Louisa, yes, it's also a thing of a pride for an Igbo man to show out or show off the wife to others. Okay, particularly when the wife looks pretty good, tall, and tries to use this word, deck her with some good jewelries. Well, that's a little bit I can say about that's it. But again, that puts a lot of pressure on Igbo men, honestly, I'm frank. I'll be honest.
So why can't people say things like I love you? Why can't people say things like I love you?
No, we are learning now. We are learning now. That's what I'm saying. Before, it wasn't that common because it's believed that once you do all those things, the woman will understand that those sacrifices are essential because you do care and do love her. But we have figured that today is not just, you don't need to just do them, but you need to also, from time to time, say all those words of affirmation. Yeah, absolutely. You're correct. Thank you.
Yeah, back home, when I was growing up in my town, which is Nnewi. Now, you see a man going on foot.
Yes.
And his wife is riding a bicycle. He cannot ride the bicycle and let his wife go on foot in my town, in Nnewi. Okay. Now, you see his wife getting a motorbike. He promotes the wife to a motorbike. He now takes over the bicycle. You see how he's graduated. When his wife gets a car, he himself promotes himself to the motorbike, like that, all the way. So you see many women riding a bicycle, riding a car. Yeah. She's riding a small Corolla car. You can tell maybe the husband is riding a motorbike.
I saw that first in Anambra. Yes, my first roommate was from Nnewi. What I grew up seeing in Benin and in the north with my people was, if the family has one car and it's a Beetle, when they buy a Mercedes, the husband will take the Mercedes and he will give the wife the old car. But it was in the East, I saw the reverse. Yes, which I found very interesting. I'm like, okay, this is interesting. Nesochi, I see your hand up.
I agree with what the gentleman said. Emotional intimacy is not something that is prioritized in the African setting. I think that's the saying I love is a very Western-centric way of showing love. And I think Ifeoma just expressed how a man shows love, not with words, but through actions. My wife will drive a car while I ride a bicycle. If that's not the greatest form of expressing love, I don't know what is. Is it better to tell you I love you, but there's no food in the fridge? Or you're walking to school? But every morning, night and day, I'm saying I love you, but your stomach is growling for hunger. So I think that imposing Western-centric way of expressing love, I think, is unfair. But then again, we also have to see that expression of love is culturally learned. In the West, mothers and fathers start early to demonstrate that through words. That is something that maybe is starting now in African settings, particularly in Nigeria. But saying I love you is very foreign to us. Even the word love does not even exist in the Igbo language. That's to tell you that it's not something that we say, it's something that we do. So love in Igbo, I think, is an action verb, not a way of expression, so to speak. I just wanted to highlight that.
But what about, I thought Afulunginaya means I love you.
It means what their heart is.
Is what? Ifunanya is love.
Ifunanya is
love.
Okay.
Ifunanya has come to mean love, I think, over time. But if you look at the origin of the word Ifunanya, it doesn't necessarily.
I see you in my eye. That's what
I see you.
That's what it means. I see you in my eye.
What the eye sees, the heart feels. Something like that.
Okay, I see.
But it's not love as in love.
Well, there's no literal word.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know what it is in my own language. I don't know, because I feel that my language is a language of war. It's hard. It's hard. Yeah, it's hard.
What language? European?
Amishan, yes. Amishan. And they say you can tell a lot about the people's life, a lot about the culture from the way the language sounds and the way they dance. My traditional dance is Igbabonelimi. And if you see it, it's the flips and the flips and the flips and the flips. So it's it's hard. Hard. Amen, hard. So I want to ask a question here. The men here are businessmen. They don't have degrees, but they seem to be interested in marrying educated wives. What gives the Igbo man that confidence? Because an Edo man will say, I better not go to school before he go insult me. But an Igbo man doesn't care. He will come up to you with, like I was watching, this girl made a skit and she was talking about different kinds of Igbo men. She spoke about Anambra men and said they must wear that their black body hug with tummy and K-leg is a necessity. But they don't care. They will walk and they will approach you, which is very kind of gives the Igbo man that confidence.
He's I don't know.
This is money.
Maybe it's part of it, because even in our language, Igbo, they said the ego bumanwoke. You don't ask, you see, whether a man is handsome or not. They say money, wealth is the beauty of a man.
Okay.
Man who does not have money is not not attractive. Let's put it that way. Okay. He's acting out because they put out he's been profiled out there, and so he's acting it out. Many women, people already told them they act like this, they are like this, so that confidence, so they go, they live up to it.
Yeah, because I have to keep reminding myself that, when sometimes Jasper will do certain things, like the first time he had sex with his wife, I was in shock. I mean, how do you just say open your legs and she goes there wide open? What is that? I saw that and I'm like,
didn't know he was the first.
Yeah, but what is that? Like, what is that?
What is what?
I don't know. What is this?
Even when, do you remember when she went to the to the doctor?
Oh, that one was a lot. Yes, that happens a lot too. When I saw that, I went, I'm not even shocked because I did medical sociology as a course and as master's. And there's a standard that says in medicine, if a male doctor is attending to a female patient, there has to be a female nurse present at all times. But in Nigeria, that doesn't happen. And these doctors are
grope.
Yes, grope. And that's why till tomorrow, my doctors are still female. I'm not comfortable with male doctors because of Nigerian experience.
Oh, the same thing. Open your legs.
Yeah.
Open your legs. The doctor said that.
When I saw it, I said, what is this now? Is this love? I thought after this she'd be angry with him, but no, she just took it as, okay, it's life. Yeah. Then, so now I want to talk about this character, Zona. It's the Opera. I think Opera is first son.
Yeah.
What's this thing about this, the first son? Because this man, I don't know, he kept annoying me. As I kept reading, I was just hoping something bad would happen to him. And things just kept working. Then when he started that relationship with Modupe, there was a scene where you described her when she went to the car to see him off. I looked at it and I said, tasteless and vulgar in the way she dressed. You know, the way you describe those Yoruba women with that their underwear always showing at the bottom. Then the rapper dividing her bum and everything. Talk to us about Zona as a character? Because that guy had a lot going for him and he wasn't happy. Envy, the wickedness, the evil. And he was the first son.
Yeah. He had a sense of entitlement. First sons have that sense of entitlement.
Okay.
So, he would have preferred maybe to be the only son, only man, and then behind him, women, so that he could, manipulate and do all sorts of things, intimidate. But unfortunately for him, his mother gave birth to other male. So it was a struggle for him to impose himself, himself and his. You see how he virtually misappropriated. I could use that word.
Yes.
Property, the family house is his own. Don't build anything. But when you go back to our place, there's a big plot of land. The first son takes the father's ubi. The father's ubi, the main house. Yes. But the brothers could build the back there, that side, on that side, this, that, but this one said, no. I'm the first son, this is mine. I don't want any. And then, compounded by the fact that he didn't have a son yet. That's the lineage we're talking about, the bloodline. So if I allow you into this compound now, and you already have sons, and I don't have, that means 10, 20, 30 years down the line, you're going to shop. Your sons are going to take over my. Yeah, but I think I put in Zona all the bad things that could be possible in a person. But they are out there. Characters like that are there. We've seen them. We've seen family squabbles over inheritance. Somebody grabs everything, doesn't want to concede. So things are going well for him. People shaping things, but he doesn't get the final prize. You see?
Yeah, which is sad. May Akabogu, sorry, we have to talk about the book. See, I spent, you know how long it took me to read this book? She said we shouldn't give away the plot, but I need to talk about the book. Talk to us about Ikuchi. that inheritance where I think Ikuchi, where so those two boys, Jidenma and the other one, yes, that's they had. I know I've heard about it. We call it they call it widow wife inheritance or widow inheritance. But I don't know if I have seen where it was actually done in my place. They talk about it, but most of the time the men they are too broke to even do that to somebody. They are too poor to marry somebody.
Surreptitiously.
Yeah.
But it's not surreptitiously.
Yeah, but in the East, I was surprised that it actually happened, and their father actually fathered children by the head.
That way. Yeah.
Yes, but until that man spoke to Amata, gossiped to her, and said that their father was shooting blanks, and he had agreed with this man.
Behind the scenes, yeah.
Talk to us about it, please.
Well, there you have it. There you have it. That even Chinua Achebe mentioned these things in his books. When a man is shooting blanks, he can get a kinsman to
help him.
Yeah, so it's the same blood again, the same brotherhood, the same kinsman. It's a kinsman's blood there.
Okay.
It's an arrangement. Okay. Yeah. So your book opens with that. Amata.
Yeah.
You have lost your husband, but he left men capable of taking his place. So out of his brothers, at first they said brothers, they limited it to brothers.
Yes.
But it emerged that it could be someone from the kinsmen, from Umunna. It didn't have to be a sibling.
I just assumed it was just a practice, but nothing was. I just felt it's just if you are handed over to your late husband's brother, it's just for him to take care of you. I didn't know there was anything sexual about it, or I didn't.
On the age. Yes, a young woman. Yes.
Yeah, because the way Jasper and Rapu were planning, one said he would knock her, the other one was in my mind. I'm like, oh, like seriously?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
But it's not just even in Yoruba land recently. There's a governor that died. Didn't a governor die recently? Was it the Ondo State or what state was that? And there was a ceremony of passing the wife, the former first.
Correct.
Was that
correct?
That in Ondo State?
The Ondo State governor. Correct.
But how are you comfortable doing that with your brother-in-law? Like your brother-in-law is like your brother now.
You're looking at it in a westernized. I think it's a good concept, because at the end of the day, what is supposed to happen to this woman with 5 children is like Chris Rock says, you are only as faithful as your options. Where's she gonna go? Everywhere she turns around, it's a family member. She's not gonna meet somebody at Costco or somewhere, So I think it was done to protect the woman. And this is replicated in almost any culture. Like even in Islam, it's the reason where marrying 1, 2, 3, or 4 wives was introduced. Never mind that people have abused that. That's why it was introduced. And polygamy is not necessarily a bad thing. You know that, Louisa, because most of these men, my apologies to any man are polygamous in nature anyways, whether they do it with your knowledge and consent or they go out of your way and do it anyways,
Okay. Lola, I see your hand up.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I personally was very happy when she chose Jidema. I was so ecstatic. I was very happy about that. But then my question is, so then Jidema's older siblings are also Agbisi's sons.
No, I think they're just 3. I think they were just 3 on that line. One was in South Africa. They are just 3.
Jonas that thought he was that man's son, but he's not Agbisi's son eventually.
Yeah, they're all Agbisi's sons.
Yes, all. Okay, so then the way Akweke died.
It's easy to have missed that. Lola is right. Louisa is right. It's easy to have missed that. Eventually, that man, he was shooting. Sorry, Lola, he was shooting them in the first place.
His husband was shooting.
The last 3 children after her husband's passing was what was apparent, that they didn't belong to her husband. But all of her children weren't her husbands.
Yes, exactly. They were all Agbesi's sons, which they didn't know. So my question then is now, is there a part 2 to this book? Because we need to know the end of Zona and Rapu.
Zona and Rapu, I need to.
Because they have to have a terrible end.
Yes,
and
they
then
need to. They need
Akweke,
to. I can give
how
you
did
100
Akweke
ideas.
died? I feel like Jasper's mom. I feel like she did something to Akweke's mom.
No. They call it Echieteka in Igbo land. Echieteka. Tomorrow is too far.
Tomorrow is too far. Oh, the snake that beats.
Yeah.
Because the snake beats Jasper too.
No.
No, he didn't bite
No?
Jasper.
No. Where? No. He didn't bite Jasper.
In
Jasper
Hausa,
died in SARS. Yeah.
that snake in Hausa, that snake is called Gobe de Nisa.
Exactly. Tomorrow is too
So
far.
is it like an imaginary snake or something? I'm confused in that matter.
Things happen.
If you go to Gombe, every day, in a day you could see 5-10 snakes even behind your house. They are just all over the place. But this is the cobra, the dangerous one. That's why they say the person doesn't see the next day. Tomorrow is too far.
So then the snake was just randomly on that bus.
No, not in a bus.
It was in the farm.
The snake killed Akweke.
Yes, but the snake also killed Jasper in the bus.
No.
Oh,
No snake in the bus.
Jasper fell into the hands of Okuzu SARS. Remember, Zona made a phone call to the.
I know where they,
Because in the story, when Jasper was looking for the right seat, then there was a part that said he didn't see the snake that was waiting. So that's why I got confused.
It's a proverb.
Oh, okay.
You have
wasn't
to
literal. It wasn't literal.
It's a proverb.
Okay.
Agwan on Africa, Igbo. We say it.
Okay.
Africa is where we cook. It's our kitchen. The palm front that we used to do the roofing.
I see.
The snake there, and you don't know. It's now crawling down.
So, I see. Okay.
It's not a snake.
So it wasn't a literal snake. Okay. Maybe it was a literal. Okay. Thank you for that clarification. Thank you. Yes. Okay.
I found myself wishing that maybe he was arrested and they freed him. Because when Zona made that call and said an IPOB member is on the bus, I said, oh no. Because I remember the news carried the story of this particular police officer that worked with Okuzu SARS that had killed so many people.
Wow.
And Chude did a documentary on it. And that showed that there was a river where they used to dump all the bodies. I read that as soon as he said that, I said, oh no. And then they kept going to him, and Amata kept going to him, to Zona, to ask for help. And how do you do that to your own blood?
So Zona killed his brother?
Yes.
Oh no.
No.
So when I heard,
is that Lola?
Yes.
Who said that?
Lola, when I read that,
Have you read the book?
The body.
What's wrong with you? Spoiler alert.
Yes, please. I told you at the beginning that there'll be spoilers, please. For those people who haven't read.
Sorry,
I digested this book.
That part is just now being clear to me now.
Yes, it was too good for me. It's too good for me not to talk about everything. Because the only time I can talk about this is when I meet Ifeoma. Ifeoma lives not too far from me, which is we need to plan to have lunch with her or something, but we need to talk about this book. The way they discovered his body, I felt that was a very dishonorable way for anybody.
Very.
I felt I tried to imagine the torture,
the anguish.
Then, just an innocent man. But okay, I want to go to Kingsmen. That meeting, I loved that meeting where they were talking about how to protect each other. A brother should not, a kinsman should not report his kinsman. Okay, and then Zona, when a kinsman reports another kinsman, there's a fine for it. And how everybody was declaring, okay, I will bring how many X bags of cement, I will bring this and that. Then my fellow doctor something said he will support with his
oral support.
Oral support. Who oral support help? According to Edo people, who he help?
Yeah, that's the thing with intellectuals. Yes. They don't have financial money. But...
Yes, I found that really, really beautiful. Very, very beautiful. It hurts me that for us as Edo people, we've lost a lot of all these things because everybody's afraid of witchcraft.
Yeah.
But I saw among the Igbos that they also had witchcraft. But you see this thing about Umunna, that's my brother. it's beautiful. I really like that. Talk to us about that. You being your brother's keeper among the Igbos.
Yeah. Well, there you have it. It's we live in communities, in clans.
Yeah.
From the town, you get to the village, then you see have the smaller unit community, and almost everybody is related somehow. They have the same grandfather or the same great grandfather. They marry and create their own compounds, and go to Igbo land, for instance. People of the same name probably live in the same, in a contiguous. Sometimes could be just next to each other. Then another family, another name is here, living together, and then they can intermarry. Yeah. The concept of umunna. Look out for your brother. Even if you remember Astra, their motto was "Unyahala nwanne ya." Let no one leave a sibling behind. So that could really be the motto of many communities in Igbo land. Think of your brother. Be your brother's keeper, really, because we are all from the same. And if you also link this to Iyom, when Rapu said he had met somebody from Imo State, trying to say, no.
Just ruin that relationship.
Yeah. And that was a relation of Rapu. Because when they came to break down that plaza, the other guys couldn't see anything, any of his. So the Iyom was telling, why do you want to marry from the Imo State? He said, but they are Igbo people. He said, I didn't say they are not Igbos. But marry from here. Because we have the same custom, we have the same culture, you understand one another. We are all Igbos, quite all right, but some of our cultures differ too, are different. When we do some things, will be different. See, so that concept of Kabunkanyi, this is ours, T1, Yoruba people say, this is our own. That's the thinking. We should preserve our, even when Amata, rumors came that Amata was giving birth, unknown blood. They say, what is all this? If you want to be having kids for unknown people, go back to your house. Let's go. Or don't bring unknown blood to us here.
I like that she denied it, Sha.
Oh yeah.
I love that. That girl just says.
She denied it. I love that
Amata
she denied
evolved.
it. Yes, and when she picked Jidena, I was wondering, why would you pick Jidema? But I now realized that only by picking him will she be able to continue her career. He's educated, he understands, and all of that. So my thought there was, they might not even consummate the marriage. She might just decide, okay, you know what, let me just move on with my life or whatever. But he will allow her pursue her career because he understood the value of
an educated man.
Educated, yeah. Lydia, I see your hand up.
You're muted.
Lydia, you're muted.
My apologies. So I was just going to say, and therein lies the success of the Igbos. It's the concept of looking after my brother.
Yes.
Like go anywhere, an Igbo man sees another Igbo man, they're related automatically. My people, on the other hand, is you're already in competition with them. They're not going to bring you to their job. They will not introduce you to their family doctor. Like they thrive on watching you struggle, even though information they have or their experiences can, help you move faster. So and I see that a lot, and I always I try to not fall into that line. When I go anywhere and I see anyone speaking Yoruba, I go out of my way to say Aekbelema or Erora. And sometimes it gets me into trouble because some women think, oh, like I was in Banff a few years ago and I saw an elderly woman with a couple. Woman, I assume that that's the husband's mother. Because once I said that Erora much, the woman wanted to kill me with her eyes. So that's where Yoruba people are different. Meanwhile, you see Igbo people right away, they're speaking Igbo and they're exchanging numbers. And when you go to work as well, you see a Yoruba person, all of a sudden they start bringing out the cocktail of accents, right? They don't want to speak anything but Yoruba, you know. So yeah, that was that Lola.
No, but I was going to
Hello?
say that's not all people. You
I
know,
know,
there are
I know, but it's
yeah,
not
so
all guys. I mean, I'm not like that. In my job, I've hired a lot of Yoruba people, and I have no regrets. But I'm just saying, you know, I'm just saying, just my experience and my opinion.
I find that this looking after your brother, I find that very interesting. Like in Ottawa, where I live, I think the Igbo community here, I thought it's all of them together. Anambra, Imo, I think, and even Delta Igbo, but I know Delta, they do their own thing sometimes, but they are all together. I remember trying to join my Esan community. And I asked a Bini person, I had said, please, can you introduce me to the Edo, whatever? The first thing he said to me was, your book club family is better for you because they're all a pack of betrayers. I said, but why would you say that? So I decided to join my Ishan family. But the day we had our family picnic, Bini people also had their family picnic in the same park. But Bini people were on one side and we were on another side. So I asked somebody, why won't the whole all Edos just have one? And the person said, well, it used to be like that. Then politics came in. So, which I find, and that's why I said when I was reading this book, I really fell in love with the culture and the fact that the thought that they look out for each other. And maybe because like, my sisters too are married to Igbos, so I get to see more, understand, like when they go for meetings and all those things. Like my sister will tell you how maybe if the wives can't make it, the mother-in-law will pay something, for them. When they are going for the meetings, the wives will be in front, the mother-in-law will be behind. But I find it very, very interesting. I find it very, very interesting. The thought that brothers look out for each other. For us, Edos, I don't know where we lost that. I don't know what happened. It's pathetic. It's pathetic. Then I still want to come back to your use of language. You see, one thing with me, I like words. Like I'm looking at this now where you said the Haridan had no boundaries. You are the wizard, a vagabond of no substance. you know, language, like what is it with you and language? Like I love the way you use language in telling the story. There are a lot of words I was just coming across for the first time, and I kept marking them. I just kept through the book. I just kept marking them. And also talk to me about the importance. So apart from language, talk to me about the importance of titles. Because I liked Chimamanda Adichie's title. I think is it Odelua Nine?
Odelua.
But I think it's a step up from her father's own. Her father it also means, I think her father is this storyteller of the community and has a storyteller of the world. I can't remember, but similar to her father's own. What is it with Igbos and titles?
Well, we already, we already know that you are born. Huh? Mm-hmm. Sometimes even before you are born, you have a name. You are given a name. Okay. You may like it, you may not like it. Mm-hmm. But you choose your own title. The title is, you give yourself a name that is befitting, maybe highfalutin and all, but a nom de guerre is your name. You want people to know this is how I see myself. I was called this because many people, those days when I was in Uniben, we at cultural revival, revolution, the time came we all dropped our English names and started bearing our vernacular names and all that. Okay. Some people were giving names that they didn't like, with the jettison. Said, I'm not a polycarp, for instance. I'm not a polycarp. I'm not a. Either they jettison the English name, and just maintain the Igbo name that was more palatable, or they chose a new. Go to the this change of name rubric in newspapers. Mm-hmm. Oh, in some papers it's 3, 4, 5 pages long. Okay, a majority are women who married and are now bearing their husbands' names. Yeah. But a good percentage Amen. Well, it was called something else, and they removed it. And so the titling is a name you give to yourself. I was born this, that, that. Now I'm of age. I think oh my God, some of them are just intimidating, to say the least. There's some they call akunetibuilo.
What does that mean?
That is wealth knocks out the enemy.
Akunetibuilo.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
That the enemy is gone. It's finished already. That's somebody's name.
Interesting.
You know? And there are so many there. You know, just look at Zona himself. Omifuku, doer of big things. So he's like they can associate him with the.
But I like Chinwuba, Boy King. I like that. I like that. Yeah.
So that's the one they gave him, you know, by chance, if you can. That word, you know, when he donated to the common cause.
Yeah, his little, the little.
Yeah,
I saw your hand up, May Akabogu.
Yeah, I had my hand up when you talked about title. I'm Ifeoma's elder sister. Maybe you don't know.
Okay, nice to meet you.
Elder sister. Okay. So yeah, I like the book too. But having said that, yeah, when you asked about title, I don't know, my sister went on something, but I don't know that giving somebody a name, I have my name is Odaupwe. Okay, it doesn't mean it's my title, but I think title is different from giving yourself a name, just an indication of how I see my life. Okay. So Odaupwe means like a phoenix, a phoenix, the bird, it dies and still can come up again from its ashes. So it's an indication of where I've been, my life, how things had happened to me, and still I rise, so down the line, I gave myself that name. It's a salutation more than anything else. Do they call you by that name? If you talk about title, like somebody like my mom, she's a Wefi. That's a title people take in their village.
Okay.
So to me, those are two different things. I'm Odaupwe, doesn't mean I took any title. It just means I just gave myself a name for you when you hear my name or something like that, you immediately know where this person is. That's like a summary of my whole life. I don't need to say more, because the Igbos have a way with words, we just don't talk. Oh, immediately, So, but, I'm taking titles. The real title is, for example, my mom, Uwefi, and the men in her village will take Obuago, So the Obuago means the killer, quote unquote, of a lion or a leopard, if you wish. Okay. And my mom, if it's just a calf, the killer of a calf. So among the Igbos, Igbos don't have a king.
Oh.
But also we want to indicate that, sure, but all the fingers are not equal. Not everybody can take that title, my mom too. You have to have money. So it's like another way of, ranking people.
Okay.
So I just wanted to say that, and to Lola, I wasn't trying to be mean when I said generalization, but I live with Yorubas a lot. They're very tight-knit and they help each other. They are not so I'm glad you
yes, ma'am.
That you clarified
yes,
that.
Ma'am.
Yes,
just my experience. Yes,
good.
ma'am. I've had some.
Thank you. Thank you for clarifying that.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. I've had better experiences with Hausas and Igbo, and that's just my experience. That's all. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Sorry that you said your husband doesn't want to listen. Look, the book is too good. It's too good to discuss. See, it's like you are eating, and you finish the food, and they say don't touch the meat.
Miss, madam, I have to tell you, I read your Luisa. Does she know that I took the book to 5 countries? Is she aware of that?
All those pictures I was posting, all the pictures I was posting in different countries, it was Lydie that was sending it to me.
Wow.
She was reading it in different places. That's what, she was reading it in different places. You
must travel a lot.
Yes, she does. Lydie is what? I think Lydie is a travel nurse now.
I'm not to
a big chick. Yeah. Yeah. But thank you.
I wanted to say something about this titling.
Yes.
Some are formal.
Yes.
Excuse me. Some are formal.
Mm-hmm.
Some are given even by the traditional rulers and all that. But some personal to you.
Okay.
You remember Jasper when he went to his brother? He said, what is your title? What do they say? No, I'm a small fish. I don't have any. I say, oh, you're riding jeep. And you say, thank you. Yeah. So some people give the name to themselves. And when you see them, you call them by that name. Doesn't mean that it was there was a ceremony. And so there are many aspects to it. Some are recognition from the community, from the chief, from your traditional ruler, from even from another town. It could be like the Jagaban we are hearing now. It's not a Yoruba title. It's from, I think, somewhere in the north. So they can even give you from the north, from anywhere they can give you. But you yourself can decide that, okay, I want to be known as. Yeah. So that's Miss Akabog, that other way. Is it? Can somebody see you and call you that? Can somebody see you in the street or instead of saying you hi, May or something, say, other way. That's it.
Okay.
Yes, like me, Chineme is my own title. Chineme. So some people call me, instead of when they see me, they don't even need to say good morning or good afternoon. Chineme, that's all in Igbo land. When you see a title person, you don't have to say good morning or good afternoon.
Okay.
I see my mom. When I go to my mom, all I do is I curtsy and say Obuefi. That's all. Don't need to say good morning Obuefi or good morning ma, good afternoon. Obuefi. You see, that's a recognition.
Okay. From what Miss May said, in terms of names, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. There are names sometimes we personally give ourselves. Like for me, for the longest time, I have been the eagle. That's that name I've had in my head. And last year, it was almost as if I experienced a rebirth and I became the phoenix. Yeah, and I know I put that on my title. I even had a T-shirt I said I'm the seven-feathered phoenix because after 500 years, when it dies, it burns and it's reborn. So yeah, so the power and the beauty of names. Yeah, among the Igbos, it's very. When my dad was in Oka, they called him Ochendu. Yeah, that means shade.
Yeah.
Yeah, because somebody had asked him one time that, sir, what is your title? My dad went, I'm the nothing of Oka. They didn't say you are the nothing of Oka. So they gave him Ochendu, yes. They called him Ochendu when he was there. Yeah. I don't know if I was still there. I wonder what they would call me by now. Lola, do you have your hand up?
Yes, I did. It was just in terms of the title. I was going to say Jasper was given his own title. I don't know about how Zona came about his own, but we know Jasper, they gave him Boy King.
Okay, yes, what they call it, but you've heard from what Ifeoma has said.
Yeah, so that
sometimes how you see yourself. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Sometimes how you see yourself. Okay, please let us talk about Rapu. Because Rapu, I don't know what was it with him. Is it last born syndrome? What was it with him? And then this is his affinity for prostitutes. Is it a thing of his masculinity? Or what was it with Rapu?
Well, we have that last born syndrome is part of it.
Okay.
Almost like a spoiled person. But then here you are, you see how to compete. That sibling rivalry is still there. You're not absorbed from it. You have to be part of the competition. And it's like there's a race, 100 meters race, and some people are already, like those days when we used to run, our parents used to run. They put some elderly people 60 meters ahead and others behind. There's no way you can.
You will run faster than them.
So it's like that's where he found himself. That there's a competition. Look where I am already. Zona is already has 10, 15 apprentices, and then Jasper now ahead of me, done his freedom, and look at all the money they're giving. And then he marries into a wealthy family.
Okay.
They're giving a jeep and all that, and all that. So it's like he just feels, how can I make it? That also sends him to the shaman, to try and get I don't know, heads up, or to try and protect himself and the guy gave him something.
Yes.
So in the book, these are things we experience in Igbo land.
Okay. I was also going to ask the question of virginity. Is virginity still highly valued and highly cherished?
Oh, certainly.
Is it? Because you hear a lot of men say, what is the big deal about virgins? It's not. But when I was reading this book, I'm like, but people say they don't care and it doesn't. But I'm seeing it here now because that was what intensified Rapu's anger. It's like saying, he married into a rich family, then he married a virgin. And where you said, where do they find virgins are not found in university anymore? That once they get to go through university, that's it. Yeah. So is virginity, the question of virginity, is it still valued? Is it still held high?
Yeah, well, everybody would appreciate that, but in real life, maybe it's not possible anymore. I wouldn't know. But one of my aims here too is to get, young girls to think again and see how possible, and maybe parents to take up the narrative, and kid is maybe 10, 12 or something, 11, and say, look, I'm giving you an SUV if you can. Because, men are all over the place now, preying on young girls. Even 10, I watched this, some young girl, 14, 15. And they were all dressed up in, and saying they were going out for a good time. And I told myself, this one, good time. And it turns out that they already have many, experiences, many partners, 14, 15. So men are really preying on young girls. If they are adults, well, no problem. But there's a lot of statutory rape going on in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Young girls who are below 18, they shouldn't really be in relationships. By the time you see them 15, 16, they've already, so that aspect was for us to review. Is there a way we can help? Is there a way we can encourage girls? Say, look, I get you an SUV, I get you a Jeep, I get you a this, a that, if you can hold yourself. And it worked for Amata and also for Louisa.
Yeah, but what I learned here is that what I've learned, life has shown me is that even though girls are waiting, they are doing other things. It doesn't mean they'll tell you they'll say they are technically virgins, but they've done everything else. Yeah. So I want to ask this question about double standards.
Okay.
When Odoziaku came for Omugwo, where she said, page 190, Odoziaku envied her daughter. She knew what she had seen in Amata's eyes, determination. She had had dreams too, dreams to excel. That's the last paragraph on page 190. Yeah, dreams to excel, to be something more than her own mother. But she had lacked the courage and the wherewithal to actualize them. When Elias Ume, he had not taken the Onwa title then, came for her hand in marriage, she had hesitated. She wanted to be a nurse, but her mother had convinced her to accept the offer of marriage. Then I jumped that and I'm coming to the third, the second paragraph. Onwa inadvertently had encouraged his daughter by giving her the Prado. He had empowered her to pursue her dreams, something Odoziaku could not have done because her own father's means were pretty modest. The fire in your eyes, it comes from me, she whispered to the thought. It is no good hiding it. It will be like lighting a lamp and hiding it from view. This got me. So I looked at it. My question here was the question of wealth and marriage. Is marriage a dream killer or a sacrifice? And again, do fathers empower? It seems fathers tend to empower their daughters more than they empower their wives. A father would want to see his daughter, yes. Like my dad would always tell me, go to school, do a PhD, be very sound, be this, be that. I saw my father push my mother too. Study, do this, do that, until my mom got her PhD. But I noticed there are some men who would rather their wife just stay at home, but their daughters, they want their daughters to get. So is it double standard? What is that? You're muted. You're muted.
Okay. Sorry about that. Well, you see, men love their daughters. There's an affinity between the father and the daughter. And there is between the mother and the son too.
Yes.
The Oedipus complex and Electra complex and all that. So Most men growing up in my own family, our father also pushed us to get as much education as you could. Some suitors came for some of my sisters. But I said, no, please, 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 I would like my daughter to finish her education. So, but with the wife is already in your house, it's already, you have caught her, if I may use that word. So, and you're now trying to build children up. Time has passed, if I may use that term again. Okay? So men have that affinity for their daughters. And why? Because they are men. They know that if this daughter is not prepared, in future she's going to meet a man like him, who would probably mistreat her, maltreat her. And if she's not able to stand on her feet on her own, you see, she may end up being forced to stay with him. So there is that. I wouldn't call it double standards. I just call it that it's natural order of things, that men are more, love with their daughters. Try to encourage them to go as far as possible.
Okay. So I want to ask this question also, another thing, because I like to compare cultures. Maybe it's the sociologist in me. In my place, a man could father sons out of wedlock. And like Bini women now, there are Bini women who, some of them don't marry. They just have, you find them at every funeral. Hey, I born for him. And then that son born outside can come and fight the children in the house for property. But I noticed in Anambra, someone was saying that if they don't do something on that woman's head to acknowledge that, okay, this woman has a child for us, so that child has no, so this son Modupe has now, that's my question, because Zona still wanted to receive Holy Communion in church, so he couldn't marry a second wife. But now you've gone outside the culture, okay, fine, the Yoruba woman, no problem, but you've had this child outside. How is that child going to have a place in the family when it comes to inheritance? Would that be possible?
Don't forget, it will have. The first step was the baptism, the naming ceremony, mind you, in Zona's house.
Okay.
Yeah. Showing that I'm the father.
The father, okay.
Yeah. And well, he was a baby, so growing up, at some point, he's going to lay the name, he's going to bear his name. And now with things, wills and stuff, we know. At some point, he's going to introduce him to the woman and say, this is my son. He's going to do that.
Okay. All right. As we wrap up this conversation, there's a saying that there are always three sides to a story: my side, your side, and the truth. I want to come to my favorite character, that's Jasper, who met his unfortunate end. Talk to us about Jasper. Why did that have to be Jasper's fate? Why was it not Rapu who had killed somebody? Why not Zona with his evil? I was just waiting I said, that hotel, something should happen to that hotel he was building. I was just hoping something bad. That's why I'm hoping that there'll be a book too where we read about the misfortune of Rapu and Zona. Talk to us about Jasper. And why did that, why do bad things happen to good people?
Exactly. Yeah, you summarized it. There's even a book like that, of that title. Why do bad things happen to good people?
Good people, yeah.
I think good and bad happen to people. Okay, Jasper, look how he got a good wife.
Yeah.
Got twin boys. Good things happen to him too. It didn't happen to the others. So good and bad happen to us all the time. So, but in some of these books, in some of these things, when you're writing them, you cry, you shed tears.
Yeah.
As a writer, some of the characters you write, and you talk to your characters. I'm sorry, but this is what is going to happen.
I didn't expect that. Yeah, I didn't expect, because you have a young wife, you have these two boys. I liked his affinity for, even though he was an illiterate, but I liked the fact that he loved basketball. Laide is a big basketball fan here. And he named his children O'Neal and Kobe.
Yeah, we need to ask Madame.
Yes,
basketball.
Basketball.
Yeah.
Yes,
wow.
Basketball. I never thought it was very, very special and such a treat for me.
I found out very
LeBron and Kobe. Please tell me more about that. Then
be
I want to
following
hear about
And
you.
they
the
were
games.
crying for Antetokounmpo.
Yes, my
Yes,
nephew,
his mom,
my
his
nephew
mom
play
is my
basketball too.
friend.
So yeah.
Yeah.
His mom is my friend. Gianni's mom is my friend. So I
Yeah.
sent her a screenshot of the book where you mentioned Gianni.
Oh my God.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
There are
he's
people.
my Facebook
Yeah.
friend.
So it's
So I want
relatable.
to know where that came from. Are you a basketball fan?
We're all basketball fans, you know.
Oh my
Well,
God.
as I said, we use fiction to tell the truth. This
This
is
is true. Yes, this
Mm.
is true.
Mm.
And also, Dr. Wemimo, you know Dr. Wemimo? Dr. Wemimo Aziz
Oh yeah, I know Dr.
in
Wenu.
Montreal. In
Yeah, I
Montreal.
know him. Yeah.
Okay.
I know
So
him.
you need to tell when you talk to him, tell him you know Fatima. He's my godfather.
Wow. Oh, I'll surely
Yes,
do that. Wenu.
please
Okay.
tell him
Come to the
Fatima
same
in
book club.
Ottawa.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I need to join that book club. Well, I'm always joining book clubs.
Clubs. Okay. So so the thing with here when her sister came, that's Charity's sister came, the
Yeah.
wife of Pastor Now.
Yeah.
I did an assessment of all the women in this book, the ups and downs in their marriages. No,
Nice.
there's just nothing, there's just no smooth, nothing just happens, just like no smooth. My question there was, how much can a good woman tolerate all in the name of marriage? Charity, look at the humiliation she was tolerating. Amata, in the beginning, I looked at it, okay, you have this man who wouldn't have sex with you because he wants your period. Then your father gives you a car, he says, no, let us sell off the car. I looked at the story of Iyom. Iyom, good wife, but your husband now got obsessed with the woman, that the Ikuchi had the woman. Yeah. Then I looked at Helen, okay, side chick. I looked at Modupe. Yes, Modupe was not perfect, but she was empowered. But I looked at the women in her family too. So the question here was, how much can good women tolerate all in the name of relationships? Because sometimes it's not just better just to sit down on your own, just sit quietly in peace. But we need, that. So how much can good women tolerate all in the name of love? This thing called man and woman relationships.
Well,
How much can good women
all I
tolerate?
can say is in Igbo, they also say, what about Tolefe? It's not easy anywhere. Nowhere that is easy. People, then I had my sister, my elder sister, Maria, she used to say, Magido wa George. That is, you know this George cloth we tie.
Yes.
When you're tying it, there are many things the George is covering.
It's covering, yeah.
People will say, oh, she has the latest George, she has the latest, but the thing that is churning within you, people don't know. But you can see abroad, for instance,
Yeah.
all this spate of spousal killings, femicide.
Yeah.
Killing his wife, all of a sudden, where is this from? Where is this coming from? I thought they were a happy couple. I thought they were. People are hiding many things. Many women are going through a lot, through hell. But then societal expectations, oh, let me manage, let me stay here. I don't want people to think, oh, my marriage has failed. And they're going on till the thing busts. So I don't think there is, of course, there are some happy marriages, but you find out that there was a lot of endurance.
Yeah, a lot. I don't know if I'm that. I don't know if I have such a big heart. I was just reading about it, and I'm like, yeah, I'm too selfish for this.
Oh, they tell you what they've been through.
Yeah, I'm like, nah, I'm too selfish for this. No, no, no. I go through some. I'm like, no, 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 no. Yeah.
That's what it is.
Wow.
Just roommates, flatmates. They're married, Mr. and Mrs. They wear uniform, they will, but when they come back to their flat, to their apartment, one goes east, this one goes west, and that's it.
It reminds me of a service. One was it New Year service? I attended in church in Nigeria. That's watch nights.
Okay.
And the priest asked, yes, crossover. The priest asked a question. He asked husbands and wives to come out. So they came out, walked towards the altar, and he asked this question: if you were to come back again in life,
reincarnate, yeah.
Yes, would you want to be married to who you are? If you want to be married to who you are married to, put your hands up. More men put up their hands than women. A lot of women did put up their hands.
There you go.
And I don't know, I looked at it and I went, this is sad.
They're dishing out things to the women. The women are taking it.
Yes. And in my mind, I say, okay, most of these men put up their hands because the women tolerate their BS.
Exactly.
Yeah. Some people have it good. But I just want to say a very big thank you. Please, look, this book, the conversation is not over.
Please, I have a question.
Yes, please ask. Go ahead.
About the cover of the book, Sons of the East. Somebody said, why the woman and then the Sons of the East?
Sons of the East.
Somebody said it was in the book. I didn't see it.
There's the woman there. That's the woman.
No, but when we're talking about Sons of the East, but why is it a woman on the cover?
On the cover.
Because those are her sons from the East.
Okay.
You get it?
What? Those are her sons from the East. So she's the East.
No. You see, Ifeoma is there. Amata is there. Charity is there.
I see. Okay. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
Lola, you live not too far. We all need to meet with Ifeoma,
Yeah. Okay.
Coffee and talk about this book. Yeah, we really need to. I just want to say a very big thank you for this book. Look, like I said, reading this book for me felt like eating boiled yam with palm oil, onions, and salt.
Yeah.
And now I think, okay, I won't fight being called an Igbo woman anymore. Me and my friend Chukudum here, I'm always quarreling with him that what is it with all these Igbo people thinking of Igbo? What is it? Yeah. So you know what? I accept. I officially accept.
Give me a name. We'll find a name.
I have a question, please. I have a question.
Yes, Lady.
I'm seeing now that she's a multiple published author.
Oh yes.
And I was wondering, what would you recommend for us to read next? I know authors don't like when we talk about previous books.
Yeah.
As evidenced by Professor Hill, Lawrence Hill, when he was here. Mm-hmm. So what would she recommend for us to read that we can then discuss with her?
Yes, what with you? Because we want you back in 2025.
So we would like you back.
Yes, next year. I'm curating the list already.
Maria.
Yeah.
Waiting for Maria. He's about to be published.
Okay, waiting for Maria.
Sanctuary Press. About to republish it maybe in October. Next month is coming out. So
okay, so
republish. Okay.
Okay,
good. Thank you.
It was on the shortlist of the Commonwealth Writers Prize. So I think
I saw that.
Okay, good. Sorry, but I want to read Merchants of Flesh. I think I noted it somewhere. I want to read Merchants of Flesh.
Merchants of Flesh too.
Yeah. But yeah, waiting for Maria. So next year we're gonna have her back again to talk about waiting for Maria. But I want to say a very big thank you. Everybody, those of us left, I just want to say a very big thank you. I've loved this conversation.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. Have a nice Saturday, everybody.
Yeah, you too.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye.